day one of Davion Murphy's attorney not messing up his name.
And in all the data that you were able to obtain, the only thing that you were able to obtain that pertained to Davion Murphy, not Rashad Murphy, was a driver's license photo, correct?
We'll try again tomorrow. I'm not a lawyer, but let's jump into day 3 of the Julio Foolio trial, aka Florida versus Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davion Murphy. So day 3 picked up with Detective Nieder, who again is a gang detective, still on cross-examination with Rashad Murphy's attorney, Brian Gonzalez. And Gonzalez wrapped up his cross by emphasizing that even though the state is using songs and lyrics to show that there was this ongoing gang rivalry, Gonzalez says the music is really just for views and money.
Detective, the gangs and the videos that we're talking about, the subject matter, I think you've testified to, amounts to what you call trolling, correct?
Yes, sir.
And disrespecting, correct?
Yes, sir.
Even at times celebrating, correct?
Yes, sir.
Drill rapping about a death doesn't mean that you committed a murder, does it?
That's correct.
Being in the production of a drill rap doesn't mean that you had anything to do with a murder, correct?
Yes, sir.
What it is accomplishing is disrespect to that person or the people that care about that person, correct?
Yes, sir.
Or disrespect to the group or the neighborhood for which that person hung around or grew up in, correct?
Yes, sir.
In essence, it is Young and Ace, the rapper, trolling Julio Foolio, the rapper, and this is done for a number of reasons. It's done for clicks, correct? And
Yes.
viewership.
Yes, sir.
And it's also done for the expansion of notoriety for a brand or a person who is a thriving or established rapper, correct?
Yes, sir.
And to further that person's musical fame, even though certain people wouldn't want to derive that type of fame, that is the case, correct?
Yes, sir.
And all of this talk and all of this disrespect, what most people do like is potentially the money and the revenue that is derived from it. You would agree with me?
Yes, sir.
After Gonzalez was Sean Gathright's attorney, and she highlights that while prosecutors are tying this murder to a gang war, her client, Sean Gathright, has never been identified as a gang member, and in fact, gang detectives didn't even know who he was before this incident.
You're more focused with the ATK gang, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What's
So
up,
you're part of the
guys?
investigation
I
into
just
that
wanted to
gang
let them
in the
talk. I
Department
don't
of
want y'all to
Justice.
miss any.
That's correct.
This is going to be a
And
cold
through your
reaction. Us
investigation
catching
and your
up on
work,
day
are
3.
familiar
I'm
with
Christian
1200
Whitlow. This is
Alliance,
Fed
right?
by Fire.
And Mr. Gathright
Didn't mean to
is not
interrupt.
involved
Let's
in
hear
that
what
gang.
else this lady has to
Not to my
say.
knowledge.
And you also have knowledge of other gangs, specifically 6 Block, at a maybe peripheral level,
Yes.
based
Yes,
on
ma'am.
what you do? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Gathright wasn't involved in that gang, to your knowledge?
No, ma'am.
And you just mentioned to Mr. Gonzalez that there's approximately, and we won't hold you to the number, 30 gangs in Jacksonville, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And as far as your work in the gang unit and working with gangs in Jacksonville, you had never heard of Sean Gathright.
That's correct.
Until the time of this incident and the investigation from Tampa, you had never heard the name Sean Gathright.
That's correct.
No further questions. Thank you.
And then Davion Murphy's attorney. He doubles down on the theme of not knowing Davion, saying Davion has never been a suspect in any prior murders tied to this war.
So these homicides that you've identified, that is, they're identifying it as Gerard Adams, the town
I don't know
center
why they'd
murders,
even go to
Adrian
trial, for
Gaines,
real.
also known as Bibby, Adrian McKnight, I think is Shug, and Antonio Tilley, I believe goes by Tilley. Those all occurred. There's no evidence whatsoever or suspicion that Davion Murphy was involved in any of those, correct?
No, sir.
Well, was Youngstown Ace ever a suspect initially because of that rap video for the death of Charles Jones?
I'm not sure that answer.
Prior to Mr. Davion Murphy being taken into custody, you'd had no prior contact with Davion Murphy, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
All right. Thank you, Detective.
Next up, the state calls a Georgia officer who participated in the arrest of Rashad Murphy. After Julio was killed, an alert was put out for the Chevy Cruze, and once a license plate reader in Georgia got a hit on the plate, officers were notified, and then they pulled up to arrest him at a hotel.
I saw the vehicle of interest bearing the Florida tag that we were looking for.
The silver Chevy Cruze?
Yes, sir. I saw it pull into the Baymont and go into a parking spot. So once I pulled up behind the vehicle, I saw a male step out of the driver's side door. I pulled my department-issued pistol out at the time and gave verbal commands. at which point the male decided to flee, which then prompted me to pull my Taser 7 out and deploy it towards the male.
Okay.
After arresting Rashad, law enforcement checked the car he was in and confiscated a phone he was using for GPS. They also learned that there's a woman in the hotel he was staying in whose name was Charmaine Steiger, and she's transported to the station as well. Now, on cross, zeroes in on the force the officer used while arresting Rashad, specifically the fact that the officer deployed his taser twice prior to confirming Rashad was Rashad.
What did you do then?
I deployed my second cartridge
And you deployed it a second time for what reason?
to try to achieve neuromuscular incapacitation.
I think it was your testimony that one of those probes struck Mr. Murphy in his private parts, correct?
Correct.
When you deployed
Shot
the
him
taser
in
the second
the-
time, he was on the ground, was he not?
In attempts to, from my perspective, it appeared that he was attempting to plant both hands and try to get back up and run.
And that would be from his backside, with
Yeah,
his
like-
backside on the ground.
Yeah, like just lifting yourself off the ground.
Was it Lieutenant Cheek that put his gun on Mr. Murphy's temple?
Yes, sir.
He was incapacitated, wasn't he? For the most part.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, yeah, neuromuscular incapacitation occurred.
You didn't try to identify him or ask him his name at that particular junction, correct?
Correct.
The next witness was another Georgia officer, and she was in charge of interviewing Charmaine Steiger down at the police station. And during that interview, the officer has the phone Rashad was using for GPS brought down to the room.
Did you have it in front of you when you were speaking to Ms. Steiger?
Yes.
And at some point, did a text or some message pop up on that phone that had the content foolio?
Yes.
Based on that fact, did you and other things, did you seize that phone at that point?
I did.
And was a digital extraction performed on the phone?
It was.
And were you later provided with information that was able to be extracted?
Yes.
Now, in this case, was it a full extraction?
No, it wasn't.
And was that due to the condition of the phone?
Yes, it was.
Is that the back of the phone that we're talking about?
Yes.
That's after the case has been removed?
Yes. The front of the screen, yes.
Now, the phone wasn't able to be fully extracted, which we'll get to in a minute, but what investigators were able to pull from it ends up being pretty important to this case.
Was there a photograph of a rifle that was documented?
Yes.
That appeared to be an AR-style rifle?
Yes.
Was there also a photograph documented showing Rashad Murphy's Florida identification card?
Yes.
Is this a photograph that was documented showing an individual or a leg with a foot showing with a shoe on it or a boot?
Yes.
Is this
Why do they
the
take pictures?
message that you located within the phone from a Airbnb owner or in reference to an Airbnb booking?
Yes.
Okay. Just going to publish here briefly.
Now, on cross-examination, Rashad's attorney first asked this officer what the Julio message on the phone actually was.
While you were speaking to her, you noticed that something, I think you said, popped up regarding Julio Foolio on the phone, correct?
It was a notification
Right.
with Foolio in it. This particular notification was a direct message.
It was a direct message from whom?
It came and went so quickly that I didn't document the name.
Okay. And you don't know what it said, correct?
I don't know the whole context. I just saw Julio in that.
Then he clarifies why a full extraction wasn't possible. It turns out that investigators left the phone on a wireless charger overnight while it was extracting. But because the phone was damaged, the wireless charger didn't work. So when the officers arrived the next morning, the phone was dead and the extraction was not complete. So they restart the extraction, but they are now trying to do it while it's locked, which means they're able to get less data from the phone.
So the
And-
phone hasn't been unlocked since it's been powered on.
And in that mode, it would provide us less data, less information.
Generally speaking, usually yes.
In most circumstances, in a BFU mode, you don't get location data, do you?
Again, it depends.
And you're not going to get the totality of text messaging, correct?
In this case, we did not.
And you weren't able to determine what messages might have been affected or what content there might have been by missing messages, correct?
Correct.
And you're not going to be capable of getting a lot of the user pictures that were taken by the phone or received in a message from other phones, correct?
In this case, yes, we didn't.
And so at the end of the day, you don't have the same detail, and there are communications that might have contextual value in certain circumstances that you might not get, correct?
Correct.
And then he highlights that even though those pictures were in Rashad's phone, there's no way to tell when the photos were actually taken or what the point of them actually was.
In fact, this screenshot could have come from anyone.
Yes. I just know that image in particular was documented in the phone on June 18th.
And it could have been there for any length of time after the driver's license was issued. The next day, the same day, correct? Apologize.
Yes, possibly.
Okay, the next witness was the investigator who got the McDonald's footage. And then the final witness of day 3 was the lead detective on this case. His name is Juan Ramos, and he walked jurors through how he went from arriving at the scene of Julio Foolio's death around 6 a.m. on June 23rd to having identified 4 of the 5 suspects by June 26th. And he starts with who was on the scene when he arrived.
Did you do any of the interviews on scene at that location at the Home to Suites?
Yes, I did.
Who did you interview at that location?
Remaining at that scene when I got there were Armani Turner, her friend Miss Randolph, and Robert Howard. Miss Armani Turner was Charles Jones's girlfriend at the time.
Now, very early into the investigation, Detective Ramos was informed that Julio Foolio had some gang ties. So he contacted the gang unit in Jacksonville, where Julio was from, to get some assistance. He then started checking Foolio's Instagram account, which told him a lot.
So I went on his Instagram that same day, June 23rd, and on Instagram, it'll show you the stories, like the last 24 hours worth of stories, and the result was that there was 9 different posts that he had made within 24 hours, and it tells you how many hours ago they were, and I just documented what I observed in those posts.
Got me drinking, I don't even drink, Appreciate everybody popping out for my birthday, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can stop putting this on there, right? Okay, everybody take this shit on 3, man. 1, 2, 3. Got my brother with me, you know, popped out for my birthday, you know what I'm saying? It's double lit, oh God, yeah. We can't do the fuck for my birthday, man. Everybody go like this, man.
Sucks. He was so talented, for real. One of my favorite rappers, for real.
So that is what you had very early on, is that correct? On June 23rd of 2024, early on in your investigation, you were able to view that on his Instagram story yourself.
Yes.
Later, you received from Instagram the actual records, is that correct, from Mr. Jones's account, not just what you yourself could view as a viewer, is that correct?
Correct.
Once Detective Ramos gets the official records from Instagram, he's able to see how much Foolio had been posting of his whereabouts prior to his death.
This one is Saturday the 22nd, 6:20 p.m. UTC, 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard. Another party happening on Saturday.
He'd still be here if he wouldn't have done this stupid
party,
shit.
At Foolio Bookings ESPN.
And this one is the day before the homicide?
Yes. This one's posted at 8:58 p.m. UTC, 4:58 Eastern Standard on the Saturday the 22nd.
Okay. Again, the day before the homicide, and does it also have a tag location?
Yes, Tampa, Florida. Yes, this is 3:07 a.m. UTC, would be 11:07 p.m. Eastern Standard on Saturday the 22nd. 4:16 a.m. UTC, approximately 16 minutes after midnight on the Sunday the 23rd. 5:41 a.m. UTC would have been 1:41 a.m. Sunday the 23rd.
And 95B10, that shows also him writing best birthday ever, appreciate everybody who pulled up, we turned out. Is that correct? Did you also recognize that from his Instagram stories?
Yes, ma'am, correct. This one was posted at 7:30 a.m. UTC, would have been 3:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, Sunday the 23rd. This one's being posted 7:28 a.m. UTC, so it would be 3:28 a.m. Sunday the 23rd.
The night of the homicide before he's killed, is that correct?
Yes.
Had the victim advertised that he was coming to Tampa prior to his Instagram stories when he was actually in Tampa?
Yes, ma'am, he did. Yes, correct. On June 14th, 2024, Mr. Jones's account posted this flyer advertising the performance he would have at 97 North Nebraska Avenue, Tampa, Florida, Teasers.
And it's not only does it say that he will be at Teasers, does it actually give the address and location of where Teasers is located?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
And how much time before Charles Jones actually came down to Tampa, Florida, would that have been?
The 14th to 23rd,
There's a
approximately 2
chance.
weeks.
After scanning Foolio's Instagram, Detective Ramos stops by to interview the surviving victims, and then he gets told that the Home to Suites hotel plus a Tesla in the parking lot all have video of what happened.
When you responded to the Home to Suites on June 23rd of 2024, were you made aware of that video footage as early as that in the investigation, June 23rd of 2024?
Yes.
Did you watch that video on scene?
Yes, I did. Yeah, from the combination of the Homes to Suites footage and the Tesla footage, we were able to identify 2 suspect vehicles that arrived in short proximity to each other, and 3 shooters that got out of one of the suspect vehicles. So we were able to narrow down the Impala to being a roughly early 2000s, between 2005 to 2012, black Chevy Impala LTZ, and then the silver Chevy Cruze we were able to narrow down was a late 2000s, approximately 2000 teens silver Chevy Cruze. We basically conducted a very large and intense license plate reader search, having the input of the year, make, model range to try to identify any vehicles that would fit coming from Jacksonville or coming to Tampa during this time frame.
And based on doing that, were you able to narrow it down and find vehicles that fit that description?
Yes.
After investigators narrow down vehicles in the state that fit their description, they then do an even more intense search, which eventually lands them on the 2 vehicles from their murder.
And did you limit down and actually determine the tag of the black Chevy Impala?
I did.
And who does the black Chevy Impala that is depicted at the homicide location, who's the registered owner for the black Chevy Impala?
Defendant Sean Gaithwright's mother, Damali Lyle.
And then what about the silver Chevy Cruze? Were you able to determine who was the registered owner of the silver Chevy Cruze?
Yes, Jasmine Glennon. She has a child in common with defendant Rashad Murphy's brother, Shaheem Murphy.
Okay.
After identifying the license plate of the vehicles, Detective Ramos was able to use license plate readers to help confirm that these 2 vehicles traveled to Tampa together.
Jurisdictions all over the state of Florida, cities, counties, and the state of Florida itself, they maintain cameras throughout all the roadways, local roads, highways, and these cameras are constantly scanning license plate numbers, and law enforcement has access through several platforms, the companies that service the jurisdictions on those databases to see if a certain license plate hit and where, date and time, location.
Cannot commit crime in
This is on the way down
2026,
from
y'all.
Jacksonville, Saturday, the
Let this be a
22nd,
lesson.
2024 at 6:01 p.m. and it's at Highway 329 and U.S. Highway 441 in Citra, Florida. This is just a few minutes later, another camera further south from the last one, 6:09 p.m. Eastern Standard on Saturday, June 22nd. Yeah, off that same camera, the black Impala also at 6:09 p.m. on Saturday, 22nd.
7:45 p.m. Where is it at?
Also at Bruce B. Downs in Tampa Palms. And this is the black Impala.
And then the ones highlighted in yellow are when they are hitting in tandem, is that correct? Or
Correct.
close in time?
Correct.
The other locations just show different areas where they are hitting, is that correct?
Correct. So for the black Impala, E through J, post-murder, the black Impala went towards Polk County and not Jacksonville.
Now, it's still early in the investigation, but at this point, Rashad Murphy and Sean Gathright are both on Detective Ramos's radar. Ramos is also aware of defendant Isaiah Chance, but he has to find a way to connect Chance to the other suspects. So he uses the license plate reader system once again, but this time it's to do a search on Isaiah Chance's BMW.
And what is the date and time where the BMW is being reflected on this license plate reader?
So this is May 28, 2024, approximately 1 month before the homicide. So what was significant to us in this hit was the Victoria Lakes Drive address. This is Sean Gaithright's address in Jacksonville. So Isaiah Chance's car photographed outside of Sean Gaithright's house.
So is this the beginning of early on in the investigation where you're able to place one of the defendant's vehicles in another suspect's driveway?
Correct.
And again, is this another hit for that same BMW?
Yes.
And what is the time and location where it is again at the same address, Victoria Lakes Drive, the address of Sean Gathright?
3:39 a.m. on May 28th.
And did you check for and get all of the hits of when it was at that location?
Yes. 9:28 p.m. on April 22nd, 2024. This one's February 29th, 2024 at 9:16 p.m. January 19th, 2024 at 12:43 p.m. December 13th, 2023 at 10:31 p.m.
By June 26, 2024, 3 days after Foolio was killed, Ramos has identified his suspects, identified his suspect vehicles,
Good
and has a
police
bolo
work.
alert on
But they
the
were
vehicles.
sloppy as
There
fuck.
was a bolo, an alert put out for the silver Chevy Cruze. Is that correct?
Correct.
When did you do that?
That was done in the evening of June 25th, and then ultimately in the morning of June 26th was when it was captured.
And where was that captured?
That was captured in Gwinnett County in Georgia.
And was that black Chevy Impala, was that located and impounded as part of the investigation in this case?
Yes, it was.
Where was it located at?
It was located at defendant Sean Gaithright's grandmother's house. That occurred in the morning of June 26, 2024.
When officers stopped the Impala, it was actually being driven by Sean Gaithright's grandmother, and after watching some Ring camera footage from her house, they realized Sean Gaithright is driving another car now.
Yeah, we learned that defendant Sean Gaithright left his grandmother's house in a gold Toyota 4Runner after leaving the black Impala there. I notified the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to go look for it, yes.
And they were able to locate it, is that correct?
Yes.
And did they at some point alert you that they had developed probable cause to search that vehicle?
Yes, they did. They found firearms paraphernalia, live ammunition, spent casings, furniture that could be used on rifles, and items that were pertinent to the investigation. The primary piece of evidence that they found in the vehicle were spent rifle casings that were later forensically matched to a prior attempt on our victim.
And that is an attempted homicide that occurred in Jacksonville on October 7th of 2023, is that correct?
Correct.
After searching Sean Gaithright's car, law enforcement then gets a search warrant to search his house. And there they find even more evidence.
That occurred in the evening of June 27th, 2024, so the day after the traffic stop. Yes, so in Sean Gaithright's house, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office found in a safe inside the house 2 rifles. One of them was equipped with a brass catcher, or the bag that catches the rifle brass. The bag is catching the casings so they won't be left on the ground. And another big piece of evidence that we found in Sean Gaithright's house was inside one of the brass catchers were 2 spent 9mm pistol casings. Those 2 9mm casings were sent off and forensically matched to the 9mm casings that were left by the pistol at our scene.
And were there other items that were recovered in Jacksonville during the execution?
Why
of
would
that
you
search
go to
warrant?
trial?
Yes,
Why?
ammunition and firearms paraphernalia.
The day after the search on Sean Gaithright's house, Detective Ramos has an interview with Isaiah Chance.
So basically, the defendant Isaiah Chance admitted that he was in Tampa during the weekend of the homicide. He claimed that he came to Tampa with his girlfriend and a person he referred to as his little brother, who he later identified as co-defendant Sean Gaithright. He said that he came down from Jacksonville to Tampa to have a weekend with his girlfriend. However, he couldn't give me any specific details on what locations he visited or what he did while he was in Tampa, other than they went to a McDonald's to eat.
Did he continue to deny any involvement during that 2-hour and 13-minute interview that he had no involvement in this homicide? Is that correct?
That is correct. I asked him if he went in the club. He said he did not go in the club, that he went to, basically spoke to a bouncer or security guard at the front of the club, and ultimately decided not to go into the club. I asked him where he stayed at. He said at a house. I asked him if it was an Airbnb. He said he did not know if it was an Airbnb. He said that he didn't book an Airbnb, and that Alicia Andrews didn't book an Airbnb, so he didn't know what the house was.
At some point in the investigation, had you been made aware of a search warrant that had occurred from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office at the home of Isaiah Chance?
Yes. Yeah, specifically a poster with the bully down logo, the fist with the thumbs down inside of Isaiah Chance's bedroom was found. I confronted him during the interview about that poster.
And what did he say about the poster?
He kind of laughed it off and didn't give much detail. Like, he avoided going into detail about it.
Did you specifically ask him about the victim in this case, Julio Foolio, and his knowledge of Julio Foolio?
He acknowledged that he knew who Mr. Jones was, and claimed that they were cordial. They weren't friends, but they were cordial. Yeah, he specifically referenced Spaces conversations on Twitter that would prove that him and Mr. Jones are cordial.
And then the day ends with a compilation video of Isaiah Chance and his girlfriend at the time, Alicia Andrews, in the parking lot of the clubs that Julio Foolio was at. This man basically had most of this case figured out within 5 days.
Ain't
They
that
wasn't
crazy,
even
y'all?
good at this. Day 1 of Davion
All right,
Murphy's
guys.
attorney
This
not
has
messing
been
up his
it.
name.
I'm
And
Christian
all the
Whitlow.
data
This
that
is
you
Fed
were
by
able to
Fire. We will
obtain,
be
the only
keeping
thing
up
that
with
you were
this
able to
case
obtain that
as it goes
pertained
on.
to
But as you know, these
Davion
boys are
was
cooked.
Davion